Footy finals are here. Can Buddy and the Swans go all the way, or is it the Cats here for another flag? Brisbane beat Richmond at the Gabba in a thriller, but what about the goal that was then wasn't? Serena Williams ends her illustrious career, so we celebrate an Australian defeating the 23-time Grand Slam champ and putting our country on the map again. Hey, Arsenal, top of the Premier League, but is VAR killing the sport? The Sydney Football Stadium's open once again, and we marvel at the new design, $19 schooners, and brand new toilets to do cocaine off of. Usain Bolt is on the show, and we ask him what he's really running away from. This episode is brought to you by BUDGY SMUGGLER, and we're asking for your help and submissions into the Ordinary Rig competition. My name is Ian Higgins. Sam Perry, what the fuck happened against Zimbabwe? What happened against Zimbabwe? Inexcusable! Anyone watch it? Did you catch it? Did you catch any of it?
I saw somebody say on the weekend that until that loss, it was possibly the most invisible game of cricket or series of cricket Australia had been involved in at home.
Fuck, you sound so calm. How do you sound so calm?
I'm trying to provide some shade to your light.
Mate, when they hit the winning runs,
oh my God. You all right? I'm surprised at this reaction because
don't give a fuck.
It's
the last game of ODI cricket that it won't be the last game we'll ever play against Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Something to celebrate.
I mean,
next goal wins. Fuck, Zimbabwe.
Mate, we're going straight into it. We're into it.
Yeah, we're into it.
Yeah, come on. Merch stuff or whatever. We've got merch. Buy it. There's a, greatcricketer.com. What else?
I'm wearing some of it if you want to have a look at it.
If you want to join us for the summer in a producer role, maybe it'll be something longer. The greatcricketterjobs at gmail.com. CV cover letter. Just do it. If you're good at that shit. Right. So, at Patreon. Look, I think it was a great win for Zimbabwe because it highlighted that the series was on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
History for Zimbabwe aside.
Yeah. Who cares?
Like honestly, that's the state of bilateral ODIs at the moment. One of the great compliments we can give this series is that we might now remember
maybe
something that happened in it.
Maybe
in a few weeks' time. And, of course, there were some sensational performances.
I think the only game I remember against Bangladesh is when they beat us in 2005.
Simon's drunk,
throwing up in the bin before the game. That's the memory. So, it takes...
The origin of bin stuff.
That was a different wheelie bin situation.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it takes. It takes utter catastrophe for us to remember basically anything.
And it is like it's a... In a roundabout way, it's another compliment to Australia. It's like, I pay attention. My radar is awakened when we lose. Otherwise I'm on autopilot.
Yeah.
Another fucking W.
Yep. So Australia won the series 2-1.
That's right.
There was a couple of other games going on. Let's talk about really the only... Okay. Everyone knows who's on the show because you can see it in the title. Yeah. We're going to get Ryan Burl on the show because it's about time we've heard a Zimbabwean voice on this show. It's been a minute. We've actually never happened before.
A lot of our fans from the Asian region think that this is like a really devastating day for us.
Right.
And it's one of those catch-22s where any riposte like that which I'm given now is going to serve to confirm that it matters. I can only insist that nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. Everyone's watching footy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So the
and I'm kind of happy. It wouldn't get Ryan Burl on the show if we're upset.
No, that's going to be good. You seen the footage of them on the bus and stuff?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
But 3/4 of the questions are going to be circuit related.
I only feel for them a little bit, Zimbabwe, in that Australia aren't the coats they used to be. So there wouldn't have been that but we fucked them on their own patch.
If you want to spin it, you can.
Is Townsville even our own patch? We never play there.
It is.
I know it's in Australia within the confines of the land girt by sea.
Yep.
But it's not. It wasn't a test venue. So have these guys ever played it? It was actually a neutral venue. It's like the UAE. That is me commentating now.
Okay, so I think where you're going to go with this was the performance that mattered in that game, aside from Ryan Burl's 5 for 10 off 3 overs.
Do you reckon he'll remember that for the rest of his life?
Oh, it's I don't know if he has children,
or if dementia runs in the family.
Can I? He's got to have grandkids now.
Oh, he simply must.
Yeah, he's got to have grandkids. He was
pulling out
now.
before, not anymore. Jesus, come on. Yes, but yeah, would you want to finish? Do you want to complete what I was going to say? And complete me?
Yes to both. So the only performance that mattered was David Warner's 94 out of 141.
Yep.
Let's
just on that.
Yeah.
Did you just say there was a stat?
I'm sure there was.
Dog
mate.
Wolf.
Fucking the nonces are out in force for this one.
No. This was a wild one. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know what it was. But I heard it was good. Okay, yeah, carry on. No, it was so Warner's innings was like statistically, as in the percentage of runs scored individually. This is just fucking. His eyes are on the back of his head, like he's fucking getting hummed. Was like the second or third most ever, and the highest one was I think it was. Oh, was it Garfield Sobers?
I've got it.
You've got it in front of you. Can you tell me what it is then? So
let's take a step back. Whenever you think about Warner 94 out of 141, you've got to talk about Charles Bannerman, and he's doing a Bannerman and fucking. So in the first ever Test match, Charles Bannerman hit 165 not out for Australia, and that was 67.34% of the runs.
It was flat though.
It was flat that day.
Yeah.
For Bannerman and not for the others.
I used to play with the tennis ball. That was actually French cricket.
But there's been something like 2,300 Test matches ever, and this was the first ever Test match.
Okay.
Ever.
Yeah.
He faced the first ball of recorded Test cricket.
Wasn't the first one in Central Park in New York?
No, that was an international match. It wasn't a Test match. But Bannerman hit 67.34% of runs. No one's betted that. That was the first ever fuck's sake any danger boys. Yeah. But how do you say that in the 1800s? Like, did you call them gents or was it, you know, Dan or whatever? But
fuck's sake, gents.
Fuck's sake, gents. Now, in the ODI cricket...
Saketh doth fucketh, gents. Doth mine eyes deceive me?
In ODI cricket, the highest percentage of runs is Viv Richards with 69.48%.
Yeah.
West Indies versus England, 1984. 189 not. 189 red.
Red, yeah.
189 red.
Out of what?
Duel. I don't fucking know. Whatever 100% of 69.48 is.
Okay. I thought it was like 234 or some shit, or 260 or something like that. It was outrageous. That is outrageous.
Yeah, it was 69.48%.
Yeah.
Now, Warner's 66.66% here.
Yeah.
He's second.
His famous 66.6 for
I feel my penis shriveling into my body as I say this. I've never met a woman. Now,
you know that meme of that guy yelling in the girl's ear in the nightclub?
Yeah.
It's that, yeah. And what is 66.2? Viv Richards had the first one. Charles Bannerman, the first. What's the first international test match? Of course, the first one was in Central Park.
Isn't it nice having it both ways? Because we're still saying it.
We're still saying it. Like it's kind of cool.
You're like a nonce if you say this, but I'm going to say it. The point is. Now, and then, so then that's when we can get into a grade cricket area, because when you have performed disproportionately to your teammates, or pretty much every one of your teammates, you then are afforded social privileges.
Yes, and you are afforded social privileges.
And Warner didn't miss out. He was interviewed afterwards, and a couple of his quotes.
Yeah.
He said of Zimbabwe, they just put the ball in the right areas. Yeah. But the bit that's missing is, like to get those other weak coats out.
That's right. They
did to me too.
They bowled really well.
I just finished with 94 off 96. He didn't say that. That's the...
I thought they bowled excellently.
It's philosophy. They call it the suppressed premise.
Ryan Burl was basically unplayable in my 94 off 96.
Another quote, we would have liked a lot more people hanging around and to post a better total.
Nice. Talk about fan engagement there.
Now, of the match itself, I'm happy Zimbabwe won, truly.
Yeah.
But I turned it on with about, I don't know, maybe it was an hour or so to go, and it was 5 for 80. Zimbabwe were 5 for 80. And on Fox commentary, I'm going to try and remember this off the top of my head, it was Kerry O'Keefe, Brad Haddon, and Brendan Julian.
BJ,
And they brought WINVIS up.
Okay.
And WINVIS had Zimbabwe at like 60% or something.
Okay.
And Australia was at 30. And they were, or whatever it was, like 30 something.
Right.
And they were spitting chips. And I agreed with them.
But Australia wasn't more.
Yeah, Australia wasn't high because it was like, so it was 80 on the board, 5 wickets down, 60 to win. 5 and they're shit.
I thought
you know?
I thought Australia would win because in,
Me too.
in the second game they bowled them out for 96 or
That's
something,
right.
98 or whatever.
Like it just makes me think about the players who are waiting to come in and bat at that point.
Oh,
5 for 80 on a target you should get by any normal stretch, but against a good side,
but you know you won't.
You know you won't. You're not going to win.
That's to be fair. It did get flat in the afternoon there, so they were lucky.
Yeah, Tony Gregg used to have the old players' comfort meter.
Yep.
So it really it was some kind of algorithm around the humidity and whatever he felt at the time on the weather watch. I think they called it. Yeah,
that's right.
Like there should be like a player's dread meter, you know, like a player panic meter.
like
that would be
that.
nice if you somehow everyone had a heart rate of those who were coming into bat and just where that was. You just start fucking
You see the mercury rising.
all of that sort of shit. Yeah, what's the mercury in the dressing room?
Is it in retrograde?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if they're a spiritual team, Zimbabwe, but
So numbers 8, 9, and 10 would have been feeling horrendous. And this is one
Horrendous.
There's one thing that's disappointed me continually about the modern game of cricket is there's far less gas taking than there used to be in a chase at the professional level.
that's true. That's true.
There's like far fewer instances of a collapse born of nothing but fear.
yes.
You know,
yes,
like
yes.
where, you know, the number 7 is fucking quaking in his boots.
Right.
When they're 4 down, he's in next, and there's only 40 to get. He's just like, because he knows through his life, I don't win.
Yeah.
You know, I am
I'm
not a winner.
We'll fall 30 short here.
That's right. Like, you walk out to bat, and it's all of a sudden it's 11 wild dogs against 2 babushka dolls. Every
I see.
shrinks,
A little
you
bit
know?
smaller. Yeah, okay. I like it. That's good. That's good. I like that.
Get rid of the doll.
Yeah.
Next one's smaller.
Yep.
You know? Just explaining it there.
Yeah.
And now in the modern game, like everyone is chilled. It's like they hit so many cricket balls. There's no context anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's just another fucking game. They've played, you know, Pekoski's in here. I've played this game on PlayStation. He says.
Yep.
You know.
Well, literally we'll talk about the Asia Cup later, but literally last night Pakistan chased down 180 in a T20 game against India, and when it was the last 2 overs, it was 26 off 2. That's easy.
You just do it now.
That's easy.
Bats and
Every
shit.
team wins from there.
You know, like
chasing.
so at 5 for 80. There was the Zimbabwe win is what you're going for, and I'm only saying that just as a defense.
Oh man, it's good it's actually good for the game.
But I was hoping to see some kind of carnage, like born of fear, you know. And you mentioned playing in Townsville. Like I wanted Townsville folk with the 4X, you know, yelling out, "Fucking give it to him, Starkey!"
Yeah.
You know, give it to Chakabva. Chakabva. I wasn't deliberately saying his name badly. I just can't talk. But you know, Chakabva, Manyonga, and Ryan Burl, no problem. I can saw it. Just finished it off.
Yeah.
Zimbabweans singing songs next to them. Fucking chants galore, chants deluxe.
Yeah.
There's no doubt they'd have a better team song than Australia's one, than True Blue.
No question. No question.
You could see the Zimbabwean Townsville locals next to them.
Yeah.
Like in they have a little marquee there. They were
Yeah,
singing,
yeah.
And it was
Mate.
Tuneville.
Fuck being in like any other bay in any ground in Australia. I want to be in that little marquee.
Yeah. I
Not
saw a
because of
woman there.
Marquee,
They all
the
had
nightclub
their
in the Star.
Of course, yeah.
That's-
Is he talking about the nightclub at the Star when he says that?
Called Marquee. Opened by Rihanna in 2008. Or whatever the fuck that was.
Or Paul Marquette, the Newcastle player. Now,
Not because of Marconi
yeah.
in the National Soccer League from 1997. There's one for the kids there.
The Stallions. So, I guess that's the analysis of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Australia's got New Zealand now in Townsville. And again, just can't wait for that. Saw a picture of Aaron Finch next to Kane Williamson. I was like, oh, Kane Williamson's in the country.
I guess they're in the
That's
country.
nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yep.
And I suppose the other discussion is Finch.
So that was that's actually what I was going to say. I don't even care about Warner's 94 if I'm honest. That's what I was actually going to say. I think the most interesting performance is the lack of performance by the captain, who's hit 21 runs in the series, 15, 5 and 1.
But that 5 in the last game, that was more than a lot of his mates. It was sort of the...
That's, but yeah, again, percentage stuff. You got to think about that. You do have to think about that. Yeah, mate, it's now there's a T20 World Cup in Australia, mate, in a couple of weeks' time.
Right.
Yeah, that's news to me as well. But and he's the captain of that. They announced the squad. He's the captain. It's a 15-man squad. The only change they made from last year's winning side was they have brought in Tim David for Mitch Swepson. It's the only change they've made. Now, ODI cricket and T20 cricket, they are different competitions, but they are linked, aren't they? Like it's dumb to say it's way closer than Test cricket to T20 cricket. But you know, I was looking at Finch's most recent scores since the World Cup in 2020, and he is his last four scores are 55, 61, not 24, 29. So his last four scores. He's also got a couple of other 40s. In ODI cricket, he's only batted 12 times in the last 2 years. All 12 times have been this year. He's had 4 ducks in ODI cricket. But
is that one of those ones where, like, you've picked the last 12 games and the game before that he made like 145?
No. Literally, the last game before that was 2020. So it was only just after
2016.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So his ODI form is actually alarmingly bad. 12 innings this year to 4 ducks. It's amazing. But the T20 record is actually okay. Now, George Bailey has said this morning or last night or whenever he was spoken to publicly that, you know, he'd be a very foolish man to not back Aaron Finch in a big tournament. He's playing at home, obviously, on grounds that they actually play at. But it's just, he's 35, and it doesn't look like he's just out of nick. It just looks like he doesn't have it anymore. That's what it looks like to me. He's got amazing pedigree, Aaron Finch. He's one of Australia's greatest ever blokes. But like having an opening batter who's struggling, can you carry a guy like that in a World Cup?
I mean,
they're going to.
People are going to wonder why you're laughing at Aaron Finch being a good bloke. He is a good bloke. I just bought dog food called Pedigree. Honestly, that was it. Okay. I'm trying to stop my smile.
You done me. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you make of all that. I mean, I feel like you can make a pretty good 11 without Finch in it that might look better than one with him in it.
I think it's a good chat. I don't think people should be. I don't think we've got to think. I don't know if it's just this country or other countries, but like, it's like talking about people losing a job or whatever. Like, you don't want to charge into these conversations.
He's got to go.
Blazing, like, he's got to go because it's uncouth, to speak like that
it's also
about
dumb.
Anybody. Exactly,
and like, talks.
But it's a really interesting genre, where Bailey and McDonald and stuff are making a calculation about the nature of the slump. Like, is it curable or is it terminal? Like, because it's across a couple of formats. It's been going for a while. He did get some runs in Sri Lanka, to be fair, but like
playing the IPL.
This isn't about Finch. It's like this is the case for everybody when you get to this stage of your career. Like, is it fixable or are the eyes not working? Now they're saying publicly, like the line is that he's being unequivocally backed. He's just got some footwork stuff to sort out. They're going to give him every opportunity. And that he also has this like added intangible of his captaincy. So like not so much tactics per se, but his tactics are good. I think they like it. But like if the spokespeople are to be believed, he has this, it's the je ne sais quoi of Finch's captaincy, which is part of the value he's bringing to the side. And like this, it's such an interesting one to put forward because no one other than those in the side can argue really, but back to that, like you, because you can't evaluate it with your own eyes. But that's part of what they're saying. Yeah. And so the posture is really clear on Finch. Like, we back this bloke 100%. Yeah. He's got his spot. And like, that's what you would say if you thought he can come good for us in this tournament. And they're just going, if you're being really practical about it, the question is, do you go with the likelihood of Finch doing that in a big tournament under pressure, or whomever his replacement might be to open the batting in T20I cricket, a spot that no one else has occupied but Finch and Warner for years and years. So it's someone coming in fresh and new and doing that job. But the secret option 3, I guess, and this isn't before the T20 World Cup because it looks like he's going to do that, but is if he pulls the pin of his own accord. Like, they're saying to him, no, you've got that job as long as you want. But that's interestingly what Owen Morgan did, and Owen Morgan is only 2 months older than Finch.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
And different contexts and stuff like that. But
it is interesting, though. Well, I think a better comparison would be Jason Roy, who did not make the England squad, and he's been out of form for a little while. And now Finch's only games.
Morgan's captain too.
Sorry, yeah, sure. I'm not saying it's not comparable, but I'm just saying they've actively removed Jason Roy. But Finch's only games before the World Cup will be in India. They play 3 ODIs in India for some reason in mid-September because they're playing ODIs here. So I'm guessing that doesn't really factor into their equations. I don't.
Are they ODIs? Are they genuinely?
I
not
think
T20s.
Are they? Are they?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
I thought they were ODIs.
Right.
Again, interest in the cricket. I don't even disagree with if Aaron Finch is playing right. He's captain. I'm like, okay, I can get behind that because I think he's got enough credit in the bank given what he's done for the side and his record. I think he averages like 40 or something.
Line of credit.
I think he's got a bit of line of credit. Though it has been coming for about 2 years, this conversation. No, 2 years is at least a year, this conversation's been coming. But I can sort of just like...
What's the nature of the slump is the question.
Like, sure. I was going to say, like, I think I can see a better team without him in it, though. Like, it's like Warner, Wade, Marsh 3, maybe Smith 4, and then you've got Maxwell 5, Stoinis 6, Tim David 7. Then you got your bowlers. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then if you play Finch, then one of Stoinis and Tim David doesn't make it, I suppose.
Or Steve Smith.
Or Steve Smith. Though Smith has had a pretty good ODI series here.
And Smith also said in the press this week that they've released the tag of Mr. Fix-It from him, so he's not walking around with the intellectual tag of that.
Yeah, that's good.
And so he can play a bit faster now.
I do agree with that notion, just looking or observing other teams, whether it be domestically like the IPL or other international teams that are good, that they don't really have a Joe Root type, a Steve Smith type, a Ryan Seacrest type.
Yes.
They just have guys that can fucking hit it at 150, and then sometimes you're going to get bowled out for 80.
They just go.
Heaps of other times you get 220. You know, that's the sort of way to go. Now, I don't know. It is an interesting one.
It depends on the deck, really. You can go, you can play over in the UAE. Sometimes you need to rebuild and anchor for a bit,
That's
so
true.
other guys can bosh.
That's true. It seems unlikely that you will need Chris Bosch. Sorry, no, it's actually only Chris Bosch. Fuck. In Australia, it seems like it'll just be flat and guys that can score real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Finch can do that.
I think that Bailey and McDonald have earned the right to exercise their discretion on these things as well. I think their selections have been pretty good while they've been there, so they're entitled to be trusted in that situation. It's always delicate. Well. Like it's an Australian captain who's been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
Curious it doesn't... I could be wrong here. I don't get the sense there's a whole bunch of people out there like backing Finch or anything, but maybe that's just because they're reverting to the default and like, no, he's good to go. You always support him, you know. And it's one of those other calculations of like, you know, if Finch comes good in the World Cup and you were calling for his head, well then, you know, you go into purgatory for the rest of your life. You shouldn't show yourself. So
I think he will be. I think the nature of losing against Zimbabwe, though, is actually it's the worst case result for him because, I mean, everyone fouled in that last game, but he's been fighting for his place ever since we went to New Zealand. When was that? There was a T27. It might have been just before COVID or some shit. No,
Finch has been, you saying?
Finch has been, yeah. It was when they split the squad.
You mean just struggling for runs?
Yeah. There was conversations about his place in the side.
I know Watto said stuff to us, right? Like, people have been talking.
Yeah. Oh, it's
but I think
a very valid conversation.
Yeah, and I would hope that Finch sees it as one as well. Like he's obviously fighting for his position as he should be. But at the end of the day, like if you this is at the end of the day. But if you're 35, nearly 36. You know, so basically 36.
Yeah.
But if you're 35 and you can't get one off the square really, and you haven't put runs together, then people are going to talk about it. It's the Australian cricket team.
Yeah.
People are going to talk about that shit, and they are calling upon some of the other value he brings to the side, and I don't. Not going to or try and argue that he doesn't bring that value. I trust what those guys are saying.
I would suggest that he is. I think he's very self-aware guy. I suspect. I mean, he's not playing Sheffield Shield. He's not playing Victoria anymore because he doesn't see the point of doing that anymore. He did not go into the draft of the IPL. Then he was called into it because it was a replacement for someone. And because when we spoke to him, it was like I've been trying to get a Holloway from my wife, my family for a while. Then this came in. I was like, So I think he's still doing things to be like, just extend the career and keep pushing for it. But just some runs would be nice. I suppose the other conversation, Pez, that happened during the Zimbabwe series, apart from the catastrophe that was, is Mitchell Starc reached 200 wickets. That's the fastest ever to 200 ODI wickets. He beat Suckland Mushtaq by a couple of games. I forget who was third. It might have been Brett Lee. Or might have been someone completely different. There's one of those two options. Anyway, do you reckon, how will STARC finish his career? Because he's going to go past a lot of players in most ever test wickets. He's fastest ever to 200 ODI wickets. ODI series, ODI cricket's not dead, so he'll be the fastest ever to do that. There's some real, like, legacy numbers, like Hall of Fame numbers being put up by him. And I still feel like he's always first one on the chopping block if someone was going to go. His record's fucking pretty good. His record's like, I mean, he'd be in the conversation. Is he in the conversation?
And this is going to be a conversation you and I often have, right? What's this, chat?
Greatest ever ODI player. Bowler.
For Australia? Or just ever?
Ever.
Oh, God.
That's how people
I can't remember anything that happens in cricket.
Yeah. Well, Wacker and Wasim were pretty good before Sandpaper, of course. Jay's a boy used to tail a fair bit. Jay's a boy used to really go.
Especially for STARC.
He used to really go around corners and then sort of stopped for everyone.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
A couple of guys went to jail for that.
Mate, I think it's a good point you raise. I think he's, if it's possible, he's not as appreciated as he he should be across all formats. I think he's a sensational cricketer, 3-format player, destructive in every format, can hold the bat as well. He's an excellent fielder, and you know what? He's never mentioned in conversations, particularly with what's going on now around the sovereignty of Australian cricket, as somebody who has always put Australia first. You know, you never catch him in a scenario where he's being rested or resting himself so that he can play in a franchise tournament. He's given up tens of millions of dollars to make himself available for Australia and to also, as far as we understand, be around for his family, to be around for his wife and his late dad as well. But he never seems to be associated with those kind of like chest-beating Australia first characters. I'm not talking about Clive Palmer. I mean... Because he's not really demonstrative about it, but he is in his actions. He's a guy that like has bowled some incredible spells. He's got great skills, and he's got much more that he can do in the game as well. I feel like we're talking about him like he's sort of at the tail end, but he's probably not. You know, he's got World Cups to win. He's got
32.
Right. I mean, he's got a while left then. You know, he's
8 years, according to Jimmy Anderson.
Yeah. He's got Ashes overseas to him. There's a lot of stuff that he might be able to do in the next couple of years that will really, burnish the legacy. Do people even give a fuck about that? Anyway.
Mate, I'm just looking at his stats here. His ODI stats with the ball. He averages 22 with the ball in ODIs and 23 in T20Is.
So you'd pick him.
That's pretty good. So Brett Lee finished with 380 ODI wickets at 23. So he's got a better average than Brett Lee. At a better strike rate. His strike rate's so good, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're disagreeing that STARC is good?
I think we're just saying that STARC is good.
STARC's good at cricket?
STARC's good at cricket, and I think he should play. I think he should play
in the team.
I think he should play in the
and he might do some more good things in his career. And he's a good person.
Okay, well, given that we've only just spoken about Australia and what all that means, given that no one watched this series, no one cares about it, except for the wonderful people of the southern part of Africa. So we should speak to Ryan Burl, mate, who I think is still circuiting. But before then, I think we're going to thank our dear friends at T20 Stars.
T20 Stars, and sound the alarm. He goes, sound the fucking alarm. They got it. Hope they're appreciating this. They're doing a giveaway. You spent $100.
Oh, really?
You spent $100 or more in T20. These guys can't stop delivering. If you spend $100 or more in T20 Stars cricket gear at their online store, it's the only store they got, which is basically ubiquitous. It's everywhere. You're going to receive a signed ball by Shane Watson. It's free. It's fucking here's a pill for you. A cricket ball,
really,
signed by Shane Watson. It's limited to 200 balls, so first come, first serve. Get in quick. Has to spend $100, receive a free ball. I want to say a little bit more about their kit. Just coming back, they've asked. I haven't even raised this with you, but let's just do it on air.
Let's go for it.
We're going to do another review of their kit.
Yeah, nice.
They're going to send us some stuff. We're going to do another review.
Well, we can head to the nets this time, can't we?
I I don't want to give too much away, but there's nets coming.
Oh, I see.
Which is basically,
I
he goes, the most, like, if you actually just want to hurt yourself, if you're into sadomasochism,
if you are,
just post a bit of stuff of yourself playing cricket online.
Oh, yeah.
But you could literally, like, you could take Sachin's, you could take Damien Martin's cut shot and superimpose your head on it, and you'll get sort of 900 to 1,100 people telling you what's wrong with that shot.
Yeah.
You know?
The first comment would be, why do you use such an old bat?
Yeah. That's right. This seems suspiciously like 1997 grainy footage. What are we doing playing in a test match against England?
Is this in 720p? What is this bullshit?
The T20 Stars kit, if you get that bat, it's a £2.9 bat.
I'm just looking at their website, Pez. We're on the website. We're on the front page of the website.
Oh, I was gonna say they actually have on their website, as featured on the Grade Cricketer, the Daily Telegraph, Herald Sun, and News.com.au in that order.
That's right.
And I'm sure everyone listening would applaud that. You don't have to pay an arm and a leg for great gear. Free and quick delivery. 100% money back guarantee. It's cricket for everyone. Designed for performance. Affordable kit. Genuinely good stick. You scroll down on that website, you're going to see Shane Watson's jawline. I don't know what else you can fucking add to this.
Well, I was going to say, I'm just on the website. Their tagline is cricket for everyone. I really like that. But also we had correspondence from friend of the show, Aaron Holland, this morning, who is covering what's the Legends tournament called?
It's a road safety tour.
The road safety tour or some shit.
Yeah.
I think is the official name for it. It's in India. Now, Erin said that she's covering it, so she's going to send us a couple of shots of guys using T20 Stars.
A couple of the yesterday's heroes are playing in this, right? Watto's in it. I think Dada just pulled out.
Heroes, they're still my heroes.
Yeah.
Don't you feel safe when you see names like Watson, Johnson, Ganguly?
Yeah.
Who I don't think is
pulled out.
Really?
He was going to play, but he pulled out.
String? You got a string?
I don't know.
That's suspicious. Very suspicious. I don't know. see if anything came of that. Just shooting.
Got to shoot. And got to agree.
Yep. First rule of improv.
And don't forget, I don't know, you might have.
Don't forget this.
If you're a friend of TGC, you're a friend of T20 Stars, use the code TGC15. It's TGC15, TGC15 for 15% off all the full T20 Stars range. Can you talk?
T20stars.com. Here is the great man, Ryan Burl.
Well, Cricinfo describes this man as a left-hand bat who bowls occasional leg spin. Now, that occasional spin netted him 5 for 10 off 3 against Australia in a famous win for Zimbabwe over the weekend. He's the first Zimbabwean on the Grade Cricketer podcast, so that's a huge honour for us to welcome not only Ryan Burl, but who is now known as the Sheik of Townsville Tweak. Ryan, welcome, my man.
Did you come up with that?
Yeah, baby.
What about, like, I heard some bloke was calling me Ryan Burl, the Earl of Twirl. What's going on there?
I don't know. Sounds like you wanted to drop it though.
Yeah. What's going on there? I don't. Yeah.
Well. What's going on? What's going on is, mate, 5 for 10 off 3. And can I just say, I know you've already thought about these things. We've only just met, but like, they are just the most perfect numbers. You know, they're divisible by each other as well. Just 5 for 10, 5, 1, 0. And just you only needed 3 overs. I guess what I want to know is, like, this is a lifetime achievement. Like, I don't know if you got plans to have kids, or if you've got kids, or you should have grandkids now, so you've got someone to tell about this. But, like, how are you going to play it? You know, like, are you looking at saying, like, weren't even coming out that well today, or like is it no, I've just bowled beautifully? Like how are you reflecting on the performance?
To be honest, like, there was a lot going on. Like, obviously, straight after that happened, 100% having a beer, 100% gonna go and have some drinks with the Aussie boys and just let them know that they lost 5 scalps for nothing. We had some beers. We went to the casino. I got 1 hour's sleep, and then I had a flight to Brisbane, a 13-hour wait in the airport before a flight to Perth. So 13 hours in the airport is not fun, but that gave me a lot of time to reflect. And I was like, you're almost like, shit, did that actually just happen? And I was like, shit, I actually need to ground myself. So obviously arrived in Perth midnight last night, and then I woke up today and I was like, shit, I'm buzzing. So I managed to get hold of this guy, and I actually went and I had a net. I've actually just been for a net. Like I was playing Australia 2 days ago, and now I'm having a net in like just random blokes, like in Australia. So yeah, I think I've tried to ground myself. I had my beers. I took care of the celebrations. But like I said, like, did that just happen? Like, it's kind of crazy. But no, over the moon.
Sorry, he goes. Like, I just got to ask about. I got to drill down into this net to ground yourself. Like, who were you bowling to? You called a guy. You going to the nets with a couple of guys in Perth. Did you bowl well? Was it 5 for 10 good? How'd they come out?
I didn't even bowl a ball because I was probably going to bowl some absolute shite. So I just said, I'm not going to bowl. I'm going to go and hit some bombs. So I got in touch. Well, there was a guy that actually messaged me, and he said, "Look, do you want to go and have a net?"
What?
And he's like a sponsor. He's
Okay.
This is not a paid ad, by the way. He's a sponsor. Company is called Kingsbury Cricket, and Michael Bevan is like part of the company or something. So obviously legit and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I want to go and play some cricket. So
Ryan, haven't you done enough to our country? You've taken 5 for 10. Now you're just getting locals down to the park just whacking bombs. Like, when will this end? When
the guy actually nicked me off second ball, but I did hit bombs.
Yeah. Oh, he kept that quiet. Okay, let's talk about the circuit though. Like, so you've gone to the casino. Are you wearing full Zimbabwe kit, which, if I may say, is probably the best kit going around at the moment?
Oh, that's a great shout. Because actually, to be honest, obviously we wear it all the time, but we don't actually know as players, because you almost take it for granted. You don't actually know if it's good or not. So that's actually nice hearing it from you guys, saying that it's quality. I mean, so we obviously not allowed to be going to the casino and stuff in our gears, although that would be peak, that would be world class. But no, we obviously had a shower.
Sorry, I was just texting my wife to say, can you please turn off the washing machine because it's making our walls rickety. But I just caught you saying we obviously had a shower. So was it a celebratory tub? Like, how does Zimbabweans tub? Like, is everyone in there? I'm just going through this in a very methodical way, and I'm sorry if this is a bit rude, but is everyone just in there? What are we? You've just beaten Australia.
Yeah.
Is everyone saying? Is it beers in the showers? If I'm overstepping the mark, please just tell me.
So I don't know if you know a thing about Africans, but we got some pretty blessed guys in our changing rooms. Our showers are dangerous. Like, you want to be going there by yourself if you can. Otherwise, yeah, it's a bit scary. So
you took that there. I wasn't. I didn't mean for commentary on who was blessed and who wasn't. I just want to know what the team approach is to tubs. But I appreciate the information.
No, I just had to make sure you guys knew. No, we beers in the change room, beers in the shower. Yeah, whatever's going. I mean, there's no rules.
Yeah. And then did the Aussies come and join you for a drink? Tell me they came and joined you for a drink.
I know we actually went across to theirs. We had some beers in their change room because I think they've also got a quick turnaround. They're playing against New Zealand, so they were pretty rushed and stuff packing. They've obviously got to get their bags and put in a van and stuff like that. So it was pretty quick. And yeah, we were all at a pub because there was a lot of rugby and stuff going on. I think it was like the Cowboys, which were a local team in Townsville, they were playing. And there was the AFL game. Finchy was going absolutely bonkers. I think his team, like, is it called Geelong?
Yeah, Geelong won at the end.
Yeah, his team were playing. So no, it was good little pub to watch a bit of sport and have a few beers. It was good fun.
Were they good to you, or was there any salt there? And was David Warner talking about making 94 out of 140 as well? Or?
No, man, they were world class. They were really good blokes. Like we had a few drinks in between the series and stuff, obviously on our off days. No, they were world class. Guys were really good to us. It was good.
Chasing 141, you guys were 5 for 80 the day or 2 days before, 3 days before, or whatever. You just been bowled out for 90, whatever. Like, at what point did you think like, no, this is on? Like, did you feel 140 was gettable, or was it like until like 2 runs to win, 3 wickets in hand, you're like, nah, we're going to get these?
So, like, you guys obviously saw that pitch was like that was difficult to bat on. And like, I even chatted to FINCH and he was like, whoever's winning the toss here, you guys can pretty much win. So if like he literally said like, if you guys won all 3 tosses, you guys could have won. That was just the nature of the pitch. Like, you actually never felt like you were in. Like, facing the seamers and stuff, it wasn't great. Like, balls were just nipping all over the show. But to answer your question, like, I was kind of sitting in the dugout with Lance Clues now, and like, whatever the score was, it was like, say we needed like 60 runs to go, Zul's was just like, okay, 60 runs to go, you only need 30, 40 runs to go, you only need to get 20. So like, we're trying to break it down, just, kind of make sure that we weren't getting too ahead of ourselves. But I mean, even when like I went out, I was absolutely livid. Like, we only needed like, I think 5 or 6 runs to go. But you're still like, the nature of the pitch, you're like, damn, you can still actually cock this up. Like, you just don't know. So no, only when we hit the final winning runs, then I was like, sheesh, that actually happened. Yeah.
It had one of those setups of like, we were just talking about this earlier on the show, where like you guys were 5 for 80. Okay, there's only 60 to win, but like, it can easily collapse from there in any game of cricket. When you went out there to bat, or even earlier, like, were the Aussies at you? Was anything being said? What was the environment like? Were they trying to get under your skin, or was it all just really professional and vanilla?
No, it was like a bit of both. I think it's quite hard to talk because obviously we're in their shoes, but like being at the crease and stuff, there's the odd word here and there, obviously just reminding you, that there's a game to win. So like, you always, no matter what match you're kind of playing, there's always going to be like a few jabs here and there, but it's cricket, like, that's natural, that's part and parcel. But no, they weren't over the top or anything like that. And yeah, just kind of letting us know, there's an important game to win, yeah. And you can still mess things up. So it was good to get over the line.
We saw there was like Zimbabwean supporters there. Did you have friends and family at the ground, or did you just like come back to your phone and have like 800 text messages? Like, or did you have both?
I had both. Yeah, there were some friends that I actually had from school, which I didn't even know lived in Townsville, and they were at the game. So it was like people that I haven't even seen in like 12 years, that I saw at the game. And then, yeah, obviously had a few beers and stuff with them after.
That's sick.
And
yeah, I'm sure you got a lot of friends you've never heard of by now.
And did you ask them like, what are you guys up to? Did you sort of ask about their life as well?
Yeah.
Like,
where are you working?
Yeah. No, I think Townsville's like a big fishing place. So they're being, just cracking on with whatever jobs people could do in Townsville. It's like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, trying to get flights in and out of that place, it was quite difficult. Yeah.
A more serious question, Ryan. Like, I think one thing in Australia is we can be very myopic and guilty of not really like paying attention to oppositions, or if cricket's not on exactly when we want it to be on, we're not paying as much attention. And I think we've been guilty on this cast of paying very little attention to Zimbabwean cricket, for example. So I honestly wouldn't know the answer to the question of like, what has the reaction been back at home to this kind of win? Like how big is it? Are you a man in demand? Are you squeezing us in between media interviews and nets in Perth? What does this mean to Zimbabwean cricket?
So it's like, to be honest, like, it's obviously a massive historic win, like beating Australia in Australia, that's massive. But kind of going back to like our past like 3 months that we've had a lot of momentum. Like, we obviously won the World Cup qualifiers. We then beat Bangladesh in a T20 series. We then beat Bangladesh in an ODI series. We then had like 3 decent games against India where we lost the toss 3 times and were put on to bat on a difficult wicket and still almost managed to, I think we lost like the last game by 12 runs or something like that. So we've had a lot of momentum. So like, obviously I think the crowd and the fans and the family and stuff have been expectant of good performances because of what we've been doing the past 3 months. So as much as it was kind of like, you know, a massive win for us, which it still is, I mean, I think the fans and family and all that, they're kind of still been expectant of a win. So it's been a mixture. Yeah.
That is the biggest alpha answer. Like, because I didn't even realize that in the premise of my question was like, gee, it must be big to beat us. But you've basically said like, it's just another team we've been playing well, and you know, we've finally got a win.
I mean, yeah, but
pretty much.
How do I answer that?
No, you don't.
There was a tweet. There's a tweet that going around that you sent to a year ago where you sent an image of your shoes and you're basically like gluing together your bowling shoes after every game. And I know there's like it's well documented. There's this massive discrepancy between basically the big 3 and then everyone else, and then you know guys who have to qualify for the World Cup like Zimbabwe do at the moment. There's a lot of change in cricket generally, right? Where international cricket might be diminishing and everyone's playing franchises. So like, what's the ambition for you, for instance? Is it to play in World Cups? Is it to play as many games for in Zimbabwe as possible? Or do you aspire to, you know, play for the Mumbai Indians or in the IPL?
So I think to answer your question in a short and bluntest way possible, and then I'll describe it, like, for me, is to be the best cricketer I can be in whatever like 5 to 10 year period that I do have left. So that's probably like my goal. But at the end of the day, I think we obviously have to have personal goals. Like for me, I've always said I want to be, you know, ranked in the top 10 in the world in any format I can. And I got down to I think 5 in T20s, but like that's not like where it stops there. I want to obviously try and be there in ODIs, in T20s, because obviously Zimbabwe, we all know we don't really play many tests and stuff. So that's probably out of the way, and that's okay. But white ball format and stuff, I want to try and be there. So that's my personal goal. And then you obviously part and parcel of that, you know, you get to play in World Cups and stuff, which is obviously a dream. But then, I mean, how good is it to go and play in the IPL? Like, I mean, it'd be crazy if any cricketer says they don't want to play in the IPL. So that's obviously another, you know, massive, you know, thing that I want to tick off the list. So, I mean, day by day, you know, net session by net session in Perth, we'll try and tick this off.
Ryan, really appreciate you joining us so soon after the majestic performance, which sounds like it was just one performance of many that you'll continue to deliver. If you ever are in Melbourne or we're around, like we'd love to have a net with you if you'd consider us legit, and you may not, which would also be fair enough. Thanks so much for joining us, mate, and congratulations on an awesome, memorable performance.
No, man, awesome. Pez and Piggo, obviously, thanks so much for having me. It's good to chat to you guys and just speak cricket. It's awesome.
Thank you very much to Ryan Burl. Now, Burley?
We'll have just found out. We haven't talked to him
Burley
yet.
heads. Burley boys. We also spoke to Chris Lynn, Pez, one of the more interesting guys in cricket at the moment. I'm trying to think of the word. He's not like what I was going to say. Chris Lynn's a patsy. he's not a patsy.
Bit of a lightning rod.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Bit of wiggle room there, just to see what comes out next. So Chris Lynn, interesting guy. Now playing in about 15 different franchises and being used as a lightning rod for conversations around you know, contracts, Big Bash, UAE League, etc. But
his moral obligations to Australian cricket.
That's right. But Budgy Smuggler are supporting TGC, Pez, and Budgy Smuggler are putting on a competition that we're getting right behind, as are other podcasts in the ears of listeners.
That's right. So you will have heard this in the past, but we want action. We want action. Has it been marinating around in your head? Because we're celebrating rigs of any shape, any size.
Yeah.
This month.
That's right.
And next, a little bit into next month. And we want to celebrate you. We want to celebrate those rigs. We're looking for rigs in all their ordinary glory to be the Grade Cricketers nomination in Budgie Smugglers Ordinary Rig Competition, which takes place on October 29 in Sydney. The way you can put your rig or suggest a rig, to talk to them first, the way you can put them forward is just like flood Instagram and Facebook with bulk rigs.
Yeah.
Give us a shot of that bad boy. Show us that rig. Use the hashtag Ordinary Rig Oz, Ordinary Rig AUS, and tag us in at Grade Cricketer, or at The Grade Cricketer, I think, on Instagram, isn't it?
At The Grade Cricketer, yeah. I think that's what it is on. I mean, I'm sure you can use the internet. We had a nomination from Matthew Gillett. He said, "Here is my Australian brother in some skeleton-induced Kiwi smugglers at Budgie Smuggler as a byproduct of said skeleton-induced trauma. He is no longer on social media, but does not want that to rule him out as the chosen Ordinary Rig Oz representative for at The Grade Cricketer."
Thank you very much.
And he's in the snow. He's wearing you remember like the ODI kit that the Kiwis were wearing? It was sort of like is it like teal with the Kiwi fern, with the silver fern? He's wearing that kind of Budgie Smuggler, and it looks sensational. He's up by the snow. It looks cold as fuck. He's a nomination for TGC.
If you are the TGC nominee, you'll be in the running to be if you put yourself forward, you'll be in the running to be flown to Sydney with a mate for one of the great events, one of the great circuits. If you win that competition, that'll be $5,000 to your cricket club or organisation of your choice.
Doesn't miss.
$5,000 to you and a billboard in your hometown. It's a lot of fun. We're just showing that rigs of all types are to be loved. And if you can get around that message, if you like that message, we reckon you'll be doing a service to all and leading the way in the message that we love all rigs. So put your rig forward. We want your rig for Ordinary Rig. We want it for the Grade Cricketer. We want to be flooded with rigs.
Entries close October 3. That's a long weekend in New South Wales. Get around it. Here he is, the great man, Chris Lynn.
I reckon it's this bloke's second time on the podcast. He's also done something on YouTube with us when he was at Mumbai. He's been in the press a little bit lately because he's the lightning rod for the future of cricket because he just hits big bombs and, he's worth money. It's Chris Lynn. Chris, welcome back to the show. Why'd I just call you Chris?
Yeah, it was very formal, wasn't it? It's not your style. Come on, guys. But no, thank you. Always a pleasure jumping on. Long time between drinks. We're keen to catch up and have a chat.
Okay, Linny. Like everything has to relate back to grade cricket, like you're dealing in like astronomical figures and you've got UAE sheiks after you and all this kind of gear. So we're trying to think, how do you get it back to twos, And I read an article about you on the weekend and you said you fell out of love with cricket after parting with the Brisbane Heat. Now I'm thinking everyone who's played grade cricket understands falling out of love with the game. So what was that like for you to fall out of love with cricket and how did you pull yourself out of it? Or did you, maybe you still just fucking hate the game, but still, dollar a run.
Yeah, it's mate, it's quite an interesting one because on the back of COVID, 2.5 years in bubbles, 4 months total hard quarantine where you couldn't leave your room in that 2.5 years. Mate, it was hard work. I wasn't the only bloke to do it, but I probably did more quarantine than most. And then just getting back onto the field, it just didn't transpire onto the field and just felt like it was more of a chore. Cricket should never be a chore, in the position that we're in. And yeah, just obviously didn't score the runs that I wanted to. Then that was a flow-on effect of just wanting to just take a break from the game. And as I said, it was pretty full on. Yes, we're still very lucky to play cricket throughout those COVID times. So very grateful for that. And once you peel back all the layers, it's still awesome. You still get to play. But yeah, just needed a breather away from the game. And unfortunately, it was my last season at the Brisbane Heat. I didn't know that at the time. But, mate, there's worse shit happening in life at the moment. So I don't hold a grudge by any means, and mate, it'll probably be the best thing for me as well. Change is good as a holiday, as they say, and signed a gig with Adelaide, and that's sort of a new motivation for me. Not to mention, obviously, the little one that was arrived a couple of weeks ago. So got love back. Went to England. Actually had no contracts on the table at the stage. Went to England. Had a good lead up. It was late notice, but I had a good lead up. Felt really confident, and bang the door down with runs and. Obviously, when you're doing well, it's not be all end all like having fun, but it does make life a lot easier. And then a couple of offers on the table, and before you know it, the UAE was obviously of high interest. Work smarter, not harder, and if they're going to pay you whatever for half the time of another league, then you'd be mad. But how do I relate that back to second grade? Well, if I wasn't getting paid, I probably wouldn't play. So I'm sorry, lads. No, but one thing I can relate to the second graders and the first graders and the fifth graders, whatever grade you play, is I play because I want to win, and I love singing the team song and having a beer after the game. That's the simple reason. And I actually wasn't enjoying having a beer after the game. I just wanted to go home, do whatever. But it was just, very flat. And as I said, the reason why I play the game is to celebrate, one, my success, and if it's not me, then it's the team success. And when it's not happening, your mind goes elsewhere, and you do feel a bit flat.
Some people might not realize this, and I include myself because I only just realized this, but you played 41 first-class matches and you averaged 43. And like, did you foresee what was going to happen with T20 cricket when you decided to stop playing first-class cricket, like what Kyron Pollard did a number of years ago, where he sort of pulled out of West Indies sort of red ball stuff and just started playing on the circuit? Like, did you foresee a similar thing happening?
Yeah, well, much like second graders, I hate fielding as much as they do. On Saturday afternoon, when it's stinking hot up in Ken Mackay Oval at Toowoomba Cricket Club. But no, I suppose, I had a couple of shoulder injuries, and the worst thing in the world is obviously getting through day one or day two of the Shield game and not being able to participate 100% in day 3 and 4. Letting your teammates down is the biggest failure for me. And so then going down the pathway of T20 cricket, the onus was on me to score runs every tournament because I wouldn't get picked up in the next draft or auction after that. So, yes, it might seem like all bells and whistles with decent cash and you get to travel the world. That's all cool, but there's more pressure. As I've said before, I don't have a team in Brisbane, team-based training team, with me now. So I've got to outsource, a personal coach, a mentor, do my own strength. And it can get hard work at times, and for being honest, can get fucking pretty boring, pretty lonely. So there's a trade-off there, but I found a way to manage that, and I'm really happy with it because I can actually be more flexible with my training times, which is one upside. But I was just, when I made a decision, I thought I've got to go all balls to the wall with it. I can't float in and out of going back and forth, and I feel like if you do that, you're genuine, you're authentic with it, good things generally happen to good people, and you can just, work hard, and the results should take care of itself, provided you're having fun away from the game.
It must have been a super strange time for you, Linny. Like, so to recap, you've been drafted with the Adelaide Strikers for 11 games, and then you're going to the UAE comp. What's your franchise again? Sorry, is it the MI one?
Well, I'm going in mid-November. I'm going to T10 first for Team Abu Dhabi. So hopefully, get a nice build up there, try and whack a few, and then go to pay Adelaide 11 games, and then playing for the Golf Giants in the Emirates League. So it's mate, it all gets pretty confusing. Like, I upload a thing on social media, like I'm picking this team, and people must be thinking, well, what the fuck's going on? But mate, they've been giving me great opportunities to meet and learn from all the players around the world. That's probably the best thing about it. Sharing change rooms with some of the greatest who are winding down from whether they're successful Test careers or T20 careers. It's been awesome. But it's the biggest thing and best thing now is I can take my family with me on tour, and that's going to be pretty cool along the way. But getting used to different environments, basically in 24 hours or playing for a different team. That's why you don't see any sledging anymore in domestic level franchise cricket, because I'm playing against him one day, then the next week or next day I'm playing with him. It's like, hang on a second, I was calling you a F and C, like F1 end. And then the next minute I'm shaking hand and having a beer with you in the change room. But that's the beauty of it. Like, it's awesome. It's so fun.
I was just going to say, like, I'd imagine, I somehow feel like you'd be really good at calling someone those things on the field, just hearing the voice. But like you with Australia, with the Australia situation, we're just saying off air, like, a lot of Aussies are just watching footy at the moment. They don't really know what's going on. But like, as far as I could see, like, you're in this situation where you're not a contracted Australian player. you were wanted for an overseas comp that was going to pay you loads, working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
But CA said, this is my words, like, no, you need clearance from us to play there because why? Like you were born in Australia or something, like, or you have an obligation to Australian cricket. Just in your own words, what happened there? And I know you're going to be diplomatic about it, but like,
Yeah.
are you happy with the outcome? And why were you not going to be allowed to play where you wanted to play?
Yeah, so basically, when you sign a contract in Australia, whether it is playing for Australia or playing for Brisbane Heat or Adelaide Strikers, up to 2 years after your last contract that you sign, you need an NOC, which is that clearance that you talk about, to play overseas. And it's basically all in all to look after, Australian cricket, basically. So I do get that. I suppose I'm a trailblazer as such, and so it was never going to be smooth from the get-go because no one's ever done it before, essentially. So if someone like Shane Watson retired, he still had to have an NOC after 2 years, if he wanted to go to the IPL, which he did. And that's for the scenario with David Warner. A little bit different in his scenario as he is a contracted player for Australia, whereas I actually had no contracts up until I signed for Adelaide. So I'd like to say use common sense, but it's not all that common these days. But I do have to, I'm very happy with the outcome. And basically come down to three parties. So Nick Hockley from Cricket Australia and Alistair Dobson from the BBL did a great job. Again, they went out on a limb, because no one's ever done it before. And, Cricket Australia already blowing up. We've seen in the press with Channel 7 and Fox not happy with the stand of overseas players coming in, which is why they had the draft. And that's obviously another story. But, the Adani Group, who are my owners from the Golf Giants in Dubai, I missed 2 games over there as well. So that contract could have been torn up completely. So they come to the party. And then also Adelaide Strikers come to the party as well. And they were very happy for me to play the 11 games. Originally, it was actually 6 games, 6 to 8. So we've got 11, which is great. And, mate, it's, as I said, being a trailblazer, it's progression, not perfection. You're not going to get it right the first time. And every scenario has got to be different. And I suppose that NOC, it's very broad. It's just, whereas now you've actually got to individualise it with the amount of competitions going around. So someone like a Maxi Bryant, if he's not playing Sheffield Shield cricket, go give him the chance to go play CPL, PSL, whatever league is available if they get picked up. And that's player development. I believe the best player development. Let someone else help him. Because whatever works in Queensland or New South Wales, there are other ways to develop players or get them over to India on different conditions. So I think, every scenario is different. I'm different to the David Warner one. The Steve Smith one's going to be different again, whatever it may be. But from my personal view, it's the best outcome and I'm very happy with it.
Sounds like you're basically a sole trader. I mean, your invoicing at the end of the month must be a fucking nightmare. Just receipts coming in and out, just non-stop. I want to ask you, Lenny, like the players, like when you talk to other players, is this where it's all going? Like, is it franchise cricket and then there'll be international windows where teams play for is that where it's going?
Yeah, definitely. We'll take Trent Bolt, for example. He's a great fella. He's just basically handed back his New Zealand contract. And he's now playing in the Big Bash and playing in the UAE League, and also still playing for New Zealand, like he's playing up in Cairns this week. So we're going to see players do that, more frequently. And it's, I suppose, as a kid growing up, I always wanted to play with a baggy green. Don't get me wrong, that was always the goal, play Test cricket, but it does change along the way. Just on that, we've seen the best Test players. Like I think we take guys for granted like Brendan McCullum, Chris Gale, all these guys have scored Test match hundreds, double hundreds, triple hundreds, and that's why their succession in T20 was so smooth and consistent. Whereas we're seeing probably the younger generation skip that and don't have that stronger base, as they say, like the sort of triangle theory, the bigger the base, the higher the point type. We're seeing guys just go straight into T20 cricket, and it's fucking hard to be consistent in T20 cricket, as you know, because some of your matchups, are you going to, scenario of the game, whatever it may be, but the guys, the best of the best, your Davey Warners, your Virat Kohlis, these guys, they've got a strong base, and this is why they're the more consistent performers in the T20 version of the game, because they've got such a good base, behind them. Whereas now the younger kids are just going straight to, trying to hit sixes, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we're not seeing the consistency because they haven't done the work what the previous guys did, as I just spoke about.
I know they're trying to shake up the BBL with the draft and get international players in. Like Steve Smith made a comment the other day saying locals should be looked after as much as internationals. Like, I mean, he's got a point, doesn't he? I know that there's some pretty technical nuances around it at the moment in terms of protecting the value of the BBL and this kind of stuff. But like ultimately, like players should probably not be paid differently if they're actually worth the same as someone else, right? Like regardless of where they're from. Like, do you think the damn walls will break on this at some point?
Mate, I think so. And we're going to see guys like, let's say Tim David, perfect example. He get picked up. He's got picked up from 1.5 in the IPO. He could be in the Emirates League and double in half the time. It's going to get. This is why BBL has to go privatisation so they can pay the top echelon players of each team in the BBL, similar to the overseas players. Generally, they're the guys that are wanted around the world. The second half, the lesser half or weaker half of the side, whatever way you want to put it, aren't necessarily wanted as much around the world. So you still get your bang for buck there. And they're generally playing one-day cricket and Sheffield Shield as well, those guys. So they're going to be playing the Sheffield Shield system, and be doing all the pre-seasons or whatever with their state side. So there is definitely, with those big broadcast deal, I thought if you throw in another $1 million in salary cap, that would solve the issue, a lot of issues anyway. Because one, everyone wants to be home for Christmas. You don't want to be in the Bangladesh Premier League, without your family or wherever you are in the world. Like, you want to be at home. It's a great time of year to be in Australia. So ultimately, it does make it hard. But when you're getting opportunities like the Emirates League popping up, and leagues are popping up around the world, and it's great because that means there's more opportunities for young players coming through. But yeah, at some point, the damn walls are going to break, and it's not my issue then.
Brendan Cullen well, obviously one half of the Bash brothers. He's done amazingly well for England. What do you make of Bazball, and is it just beers? Like, what is it? Like, what is Bazball? You two must be amazing beers.
Yeah, mate, the thing is, Bazball, not once would that come out of Brendan's mouth, and basically the journos selling their own press, creating their own headlines, and that's the world we live in, mate. I turn on the news and it's just, the Pollies going at each other from whether it's 5 years ago or yesterday, and they're just recreating their own news. So, mate, when England are, they obviously flying in that New Zealand series not long ago, they got towed up in the first game against who they played South Africa just recently, and then they've turned it on its head. And that's the nature of Ben Stokes, Brent McCullum. Don't worry about this Bazball bullshit. That's just the Baz's style of play. You can write whatever word you want. Yes, it mightn't be consistent, but they're going to be entertaining. They're going to, there's not going to be any dead, dull periods in a game of Test cricket, which is going to be awesome to watch when Australia play England next in the Ashes. So, regardless, there's going to be no draws. It's win or lose. And one of Baz's theories is you've got to be prepared to lose a game to win the game, which is awesome. So it's that balls to the wall mentality. And look, they're going to look embarrassing sometimes, but there's a method to the madness, and people are going to be quick to jump on their case. They've been towed up again, or this has been bowled out for 80. But I'd rather that than boring draws, which is the traditionalist like England style of play. And I guess the older generation don't like it because that was their blueprint, and he's come in and just fucking throwing that in the bin and going, this is my way. You've employed me as coach, so we're going to do it my way. And what better bloke to have by his side than Ben Stokes?
Last one from me, Lenny. Speaking of balls to the wall, I looked up your LinkedIn profile, and among other things, you say there's more to life than cricket. Very interesting concept, having sort of played twos in the early 2000s. But I noticed one thing you do on your LinkedIn is you're co-founder of Playbook Australia. So in between boshing them around, you sort of have an entrepreneurial streak. And from what I gather, just jump on this site and it matches you up to different people that have different skill sets or something. So I guess what I want to know is, like, I have a particular interest in understanding the biomechanics of a drop punt on my left and right foot up at the park. I don't want to put it like this in cricket terms. Like, can Playbook Australia help me in that respect?
Well, there's only so much help that we can give you, but it might just be $300 for someone like Adam Treloar or whatever, Jared Lyons or one of the boys from whoever we've got on the side. So I know you're a bit of a tight ass from what I've heard from Higo. So, mate, if you're happy to pay the bills, get in there. But mate, it's a great thing. Like there's so many good coaches on that platform, and it's essentially a booking platform. But I had quality access to quality coaches when I was a youngster, and that was all I wanted. Is how can the young community now get access to that, or people from the country get access to quality coaches in all sports, all ages, all abilities, and giving back to the game, something that the professional cricket's owe cricket, basically. It's given me a great lifestyle, great career, but you always got to ask yourself, how can you give back? And it's a perfect way to do so. And mind you, I actually love mentoring young kids. I actually did a playbook session this afternoon on a Zoom call with a young kid, and we do it once a month, and you just track how their progress is going. And if I can give a kid confidence to play sport, you can use that confidence in any industry, anywhere in Australia, anywhere in the world. And it's a pretty powerful thing. So, yeah, it's going places, and hopefully, we might have Playbook sponsoring the grey cricketer one day.
Well, I am a tight ass, so you're gonna have to sort of stump up a fee there. But I can take some advice from yourself. Yeah, I mean, in a nice way. Hey, it was great to speak with the lightning rod himself, Chris Lynn. Lenny, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, and let's not keep it too long between drinks again, lads.
Thank you very much to Linny. Second time on the show. Third time on the show. Third time on the show for Linny. Well, he was on a YouTube special once when he was playing for Mumbai Indians during the lockdown IPL back in the day. And he's also been on the show before, maybe a couple of years ago. Anyway, Pez, the England-South Africa Test Series finishes beginning of next week, or finish on the weekend coming, I suppose. That'll be day 4 and 5. It's at the Oval. Starts on Thursday. Is that right? Thursday, I think. Thursday. Yeah. Okay, the big news, Pez, perhaps of the week. Bairstow gone for the rest of, obviously, the series, but also the rest of the cricketing calendar. I'm sure everyone's already seen this, but it was a freak incident. I think he was slipping when he was walking to a tee box on a golf course. I think it might be a broken leg, fractured leg. Ben Duckett is in to replace him for the third Test squad, although Harry Brook has already been the spare bat for this series, so he'll likely get his Test debut at the Oval this week. Bairstow is a leading run scorer in Test cricket this year. Just a broader conversation around Bairstow, if I may, and what it means for the World Cup, which is probably it's on the horizon. It's the big thing. I mean, I think this series is a really interesting finale coming up. But England, as I said earlier, left out Jason Roy for their World Cup squad, and Rob Key said earlier this week that Bairstow was going to open the batting with Buttler. So that'll mean that England now have to find two spots for their top 3. I mean, Buttler will open. I mean, they've done it with David Malan before. They've got some options, but to replace him, Will Jacks is said to be the most likely replacement. Hales is in the picture. James Vince, Root back in. Of course, Jason Roy would also be in contention. But that's Bairstow broken leg, not just for this series, but for the World Cup, I think is a fucking massive blow. I'm looking at England's squad. They've got good players. I'm not going to say they fucking can't win, but fuck, that's a big out. No Bairstow is a big out for them to win the tournament, I think.
He's been one of the best players in world cricket. You lose one of your best, lose one of the big boys.
Yeah.
I mean, if any country does have fair bit of firepower in reserve, it is England.
They got a couple.
I'd love to see Alex Hales back in. I don't know where he's at in terms of what they think of him and stuff. But I mean, Bairstow's been on fire, and it seemed like a freak accident.
I don't know,
sort of announced it on create mode on Instagram and stuff as well, sort of get the create mode up and just I kind of like it. It's just, again, Bairstow just being Bairstow, the humility of it is great. I mean, I'm focusing on a trivial matter here, like how, you know, announcing his injury via create mode on Insta, but with his own writing as well. But I liked that because it was like, it wasn't an ECB issued announcement, you know, which would be delivered in perfect vanilla, you know, emotionless copy. Like this was Bairstow just setting the record straight. He's just, I've had a fucking mishap on the tee box.
Smashed me leg, haven't I?
Yeah,
Dummy legging,
haven't I? That's not what he said, and he doesn't have a London accent.
No, he doesn't at all.
He's not a street urchin from Charles Dickens' novel. He's not a character.
Shine your shoes, governor.
Great Expectations, you know.
I'm sorry for what I just said. I can think of nothing worse than an English podcast trying to do an Australian accent. So
exactly.
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. Just kidding. So yeah, it's that's
when I think about a broken leg, and I often like to, I just think compound fracture, you know, like fucking bone coming out of the leg.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, it, of course, would not have been, well, I suspect it was not that, but can you imagine the fucking, like, just playing around at golf and he slipped over and he's broken his leg? I mean, at what point, you know, when like an otherwise trivial incident seems like when McGrath like rolled his ankle in the 05 Ashes, that's the first one that came to mind, right? It's like quite a incidental incident. Like it's just it's an innocuous incident. But it's actually fucking really traumatic. Like the guy's broken his leg. Yep. So imagine just like blokes, it would ruin the bloke's round.
Yeah, did he keep going with the round?
Oh, he was 3 under, so.
South Africa? No Van der Dussen, that hurts. He's been playing well. He's
out, is he?
With his Mal Meninga. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, he's turning his Mal Meninga, has he?
No Van der Dussen, Mal Meninga.
When did he hurt his finger?
During the game. In the game.
Cricket they were playing. Yeah, okay. That can happen.
The last game,
That can happen on his own pitches.
South Africa questions are 2 spinners or not. Surely not. Please play Jansen. But yeah, they won't say. Issue with South Africa is their batting's not great, but they're good at ugly runs.
Well, that means
they need Elgar runs. And
that means Markham will play if Van der Dussen's out. That means they'll bring in... I don't
think you're going to get the names because I haven't written them down, but I didn't really know much about him.
Yeah, sure. Well, no runs again, but the oval flattest wicket in the country. You'd fancy some run. I mean, fuck. No Bairstow.
The South Africa thing is South Africa going into they had a crushing loss. Now I want to argue it's in the second test, it's the right kind of crushing loss.
Perfect.
Well, see, England had a crushing loss in the first game, but the way that they were dismantled by South Africa was something thorough and tangible, whereas South Africa just sort of missed the jump on the game.
Mate, I can't believe how fucking dumb they were by playing 2 spinners and winning the toss and batting.
It felt like anomaly loss, you know, like what this is a bit of an aberration. And now South Africa's gone into a period of like silence with the media and stuff. They're getting into the fucking... Well, if anyone watched the rugby on the weekend, South Africa and Australia, they completely bashed up Australia after suffering a humiliating loss the week before. Right. When South Africans have their backs against the wall, I don't actually know what happens. Probably statistically the same as any other country.
Depending on who plays, quality of their side.
Exactly. Ins, outs, sort of... But I'm just reading... I think this was from Ferdos in CricInfo, I believe.
Friend of the show.
Ferdos Munda, that is. No further details have been provided about their itinerary, except, and this is in between the second and third test, except that they will, inverted commas, stay together as a group and engage in team activities, including golf, rather than have individual time away, as was initially discussed. So Boucher's gone like... I'm not doing an accent, but he's gone, we'll stay together, boys.
So they
thought about it.
So they were on the golf course when Bairstow's fucking snapped his leg. That is very interesting.
Okay. I don't know if anyone's put 2 and 2 together there. Okay. Speaking after the second test, Dean Elgar said they would use the time to reconnect, to, inverted commas, pull ourselves towards ourselves, and don't forget why we are here. You know. Why am I here again? Well, we've all been there with cricket. We have all been there.
There's nothing
why
worse.
Am I here?
When you're on a 3-day bender and you wake up in the morning and you don't recognise the roof.
Yeah. And then
why am I here?
Do not forget why you are here.
Mate, I didn't realise that they were going to stay together as a group.
Yeah.
That
changes things, doesn't it?
That's quite significant.
They might play 2 spinners.
I don't know. Like I suppose it's just like pack mentality. Like that they get like I think that's why the saying exists, that like it's there to intimidate, and show unity and strength and unity, right? Much like a pack of wild dogs.
I'm just back in South Africa. I'm frightened by this kind of verbiage. Like it's
staying together as a group. That's fucking
it is
done
like
me.
and
That's done
pull
me.
ourselves towards ourselves.
Yeah, what does that mean? Is that a circle jerk?
It could be lots of things. And just like, can you imagine Dean Elgar saying, "You don't forget why we are here."
Shit.
I wonder if he sensed that people had forgotten why they were there. Like you've lost memory.
Do you think the WhatsApp group might have been a little bit too much about the West End? Sort of having a couple of cabaret shows, maybe a couple of shots on the golf course, a couple of dick pics floating around in the group chat.
Don't forget why
Don't forget why we're here.
Top of off.
I think Jansen forgot why he was there. Then he started banging some left arm spinning the nets just to go try and get a fucking game. Mate, here's a shout for you, Pez.
Okay.
McGrath chucked. I think that Ollie Pope, this could be a significant test match in the career of Ollie Pope. As you know, he has got lots of runs at the Oval where he plays mostly 2s and 3s. But he's got a good record at the Oval. He averaged 100 there, whatever the fuck. And I think he's played actually quite nicely at some points in this series. And you just feel like if something is going to come together, this could be a big. If he does really well in a game like this, as I think he's shown glimpses of so far in this series, and he wins a test match in a test series against a very good travelling side, that could really propel his career. Now he's also got 100 against South Africa in South Africa, so he likes facing their bowling. I don't know. I'm just saying. I feel like this could be an opportunity for him playing cricket against the country.
Ollie Pope is on the precipice of kind of escaping the. Of confirming his like test career, of elevating himself to somebody who is in that bracket of secure, somewhat proven at the level. Yeah. Starts on Thursday. We get home, turn it on. Might be on, might not. Could be Wednesday.
Mate, I think you and I both think that the Oval's the best ground. Oval's my favourite ground.
Mate, they're all fucking sick, really, aren't they? But yeah, like it's England just does a great ground. England does good test cricket. I love it. It's great.
And of course, we didn't speak about it last week, but James Anderson passed 950 international wickets. It's gone past McGrath, top of the all non-spinners list. Yeah, it's a little bit Equinox, isn't it?
International wickets, yeah.
International wickets. Who even talks like that?
Yeah.
The 100 is over.
Lots of wickets. 100's over, yeah.
The Trent Rockets won the men's final with 2 balls to spare. And, of course, the Oval Invincibles won the women's final. What is there to take away from the 100 tournament? I saw that Nasser Hussain on comms said that after the men's final, that you can't say that it's not great atmosphere at the ground. Lots of families there. Great energy. Great entertainment. But he did say also it's got second season syndrome, the 100 this year. There's not been many close games. Welsh Fire, fucking absolute dog shit all year. Did they even win a game? Not sure if they did. Players leaving left, right, and centre. You can't escape that. But he did say on that final day that it was great atmosphere. And so, mate, I'm still trying to figure out, mate. I'm still trying to figure out if people like it. I'm genuinely trying to figure that out. And like, because it does feel like people at the ground, people are having a good time, but it does feel like, as we've had from correspondence from people in the past, like it's just on, and I don't love it, but it's just on, and it's okay.
But that's actually the norm with T20 cricket. If you subtract the IPL, it's a big thing to subtract.
Yeah, it's quite big.
That's generally the position of T20 cricket in most national schedules, right?
I agree with that.
It's a big content play, and it's well packaged for, like for partners and for sponsors. And
can I read you a correspondence that we had from Patreon? Franco wrote in, and he said, "Boys, I'd love to tell you my thoughts on the 100. However, I reside in Bristol, which despite being the regional city of the West Country and the 6th biggest city in England, doesn't have a 100 franchise, and thus I haven't paid any attention to it." Nasser Hussain also made that point. I have, however,
Bristol?
about like the sort of southeast
side.
Sorry, southwest side, not having representation. There's been so many great players from like Somerset, as an example, having no representation. Okay. Trescothic, just to name one.
Done.
Keysvetter. What else did he say? I have, however, managed to watch Gloucestershire's seconds in the One Day Cup, which, if you believe the Toffs view, is the most sacred behind the county championship and much more important than the 100. The main reason why I haven't watched the 100 is, whilst I've been to most Gloucestershire T20 games this season, I cannot be bothered to take half a day off midweek to watch those coats at Welsh Fire get pumped every game. It's bad enough supporting Gloucestershire. On top of that, as a proud first West Countryman, and secondly, an Englishman, it would be treason, rather, to support a Welsh team. I'd rather support the Aussies. To be frank, the only way I've ever been interested in the 100 would be if there was a West Country team based in either Somerset or Gloucestershire, in which case I'd be there every game. I'm not advocating that underperforming teams should be stripped of their franchises. However, Sophia Gardens has a piss-poor atmosphere compared to every other ground I've ever been to, including some wheelie bin park shit, and thus proves my case. Now, of course, with all these correspondences that we get mostly from Patreon, that's just one man's opinion. This is part of the reason why I form my view of the 100, that I can't tell if people like it or not, because it's obvious there's frustration with it, but I see some of the cricket looks like it's pretty good standard, some good players knocking about, but then of course half of them fuck off, as with every domestic T20 or shortened franchise league except for the IPL.
Report came out this week that attendances at the 100 are up.
That's good.
But TV viewing is down 20%.
Wow. Why would that be?
There was some Equinox stuff underneath, but, I'm a millennial. Why would I read that?
Has the Premier League started earlier this year because of the World Cup?
I don't know.
No.
I'd imagine 20% is. I'm uncomfortable imagining lots of things, but I put the stat out there. There wouldn't be. I don't think there are mitigating things that would kind of account for 20% being
big
down.
drop off, yeah.
But I revert to the broader idea that every country wants a big piece of something to own, to sell, given the 50,000 feet view of cricket.
Mate, that's the answer, isn't it? That is the answer.
This is the ECB's one. It's probably pretty good. It gets the players. It's all a bit Wild West at the moment. Players are going around, joining different competitions. I think, that English people are by and large pretty mature observers of sport, especially cricket.
Yeah.
They know a bit of bullshit when they see it at times. It's not in line with what a lot of them grew up with.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean there aren't other progressives in there as well saying, this is the future, and that's also valid as well. So I'm just a big both sidesism person.
Nice.
But I think the broader thing is that let's look at what all these competitions mean in about, I don't know what the horizon is, whether it's short or medium term, but let's say 5 years, 10 years, and what the impact of the expanding IPL is on them, and then maybe we'll have a better sense. Because I just got a feeling that, because that's all that matters, feeling and gut.
Yeah, that's right.
But these products, I'm sorry to call it that, are going to be seen to be extremely important in the positioning of every country and its stability and ability to administer itself or just be safe with the the monopolistic expansion of the IPL. So I'm a bit maybe the 100 will make more sense in 5 years as an economic play.
I think what you've said,
as grim as that is,
I think what you said is really right, man. I think you've eloquated that really nicely. And I was just thinking about what my experience was as a kid when I think the sport meant the most to me, which was probably around about the age of 10. Is that when sport means the most? It means different things as you get older. Maybe you invest more into it financially, but maybe not as much emotionally. Although maybe that's also not true. I'm not sure. But when we just had test matches and ODIs, I think I really loved both those things. And now, as we've just exemplified in this show, when as an ODI series, couldn't give a fuck about any ODI series except for the ODI World Cups. Could not give a fuck about any of them. So then that experience is lesser for me. And I don't think I've ever really enjoyed watching any T20 cricket. Even the World Cups, man. Did I really enjoy the T20 World Cup last year? I don't think so.
I don't think I was aware of T20 World Cups until the last one.
And that's also a very Australian thing, though. We've never taken it seriously. Australia,
again, as we said, you had footlong on the back of Jason Crozier's Guernsey.
That's right, yeah. Gilchurch.
Yeah, that's right, Gilchurch. And wasn't James Hodge catfish?
Yeah, McGrath pretended to bowl an underarm ball against New Zealand. Billy Bowden gave him a red card.
Yeah. New Zealanders all had moustaches.
Moustaches, yeah. And they were wearing the Brown Brigade shirts.
They were cosplaying. They were 70s
that's
cricketers.
right. It was funny. But it was a sellout crowd, and that's how we got to this point. So, you know, but then like test matches, but then I still fucking just love test matches, man. Just everything's better. It's what the sport is made for. The sport is made for test matches. That's where all the richness of it is, so that the enjoyment is. But so I don't know. Yeah, like I still feel a bit of sadness, I suppose. But then sport, like it's not just cricket. Hey, fucking all sports changing, and it's like, oh, fuck. And then it's the internet. I'm just looking to the middle distance here, just really drifting.
I think it's a good chat. Like, yeah, who is the game? You always just want to keep an eye on who is the game for. Are younger people able to enjoy it? In what way can they enjoy it? And if like that's, you know, if the game at the club level is strong, if like clubs are well resourced, you know, like kids have kit, they got grounds to play on.
They should
if
just be
kids
able to
like
play,
you don't teach them how to, you teach them to love the game, then they'll work out who's good and who isn't. You don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. If that's popular and they've got heroes to look up to and some good stuff that like captivates them, then it's good, you know. Like, and I think that's what needs to be kept an eye on with all of this. Like I have to say, it's just this is a. I want to write about this, to be honest, but like one thing that I'm
like a tweet.
Like sort of a well-crafted. It's in drafts at the moment. Sort of a thread. Get it down. Yeah. One
of 17.
That's right. The $6.2 billion of money from IPL media rights has come into the game. That should mean that cricket has more money in the game, right? That's not. I don't think that's too big a leap.
Yeah.
Depending on where the money goes.
Yeah.
But against that backdrop and the ongoing conversation about who, you know, what Cricket Australia can hold on to and what the players are trying to get, and you know, local players wanting to match their money with international players, which is understandable. You know, against that backdrop of more money coming into the game and who owns it and how you're going to package it up, I don't like reading those things and then seeing a great report that Dan Brady put together where he just wrote, and he must have been told it somewhere, maybe on background, that Cricket Australia had also been tossing up whether to fund the keeping of local BBL players through upping subscriptions for parents. You know, so we keep players in the game by making parents pay more rego. That's wrong. You know, that can't be allowed to stand. Now, it may not be true. You know, like but and I don't think it would have been an idle thought from Bredig. You know, maybe it was floated, and maybe that won't happen. But that's the sort of shit that you worry that I actually worry about. Is like the game gets richer, and parents are paying more money for kids to play an already expensive game. That's wrong. You know, you want money to come into the game, and you want it to help kids enjoy the game more. Anyway.
Well, if Karuna Pandy gets a bit of a bunts next IPL deal, so be it. I say.
I just don't want to get too like caught up in the circle jerk of the fucking great amounts of money that these guys, are, not just players, administrators and stuff, are making. Like good on them, podcasters. Like, absolutely good luck to them. Come in and do the business. You know, $1 a run. Yeah. Everyone wants $1 a run.
Yeah,
you know,
we get $1 a show.
But
it's not great.
That's right. Yeah, but if it's against the backdrop of parents paying more rego, that's shit.
Fuck that.
That sucks.
Fuck
but
that.
We're not saying it's happened. Just keeping an eye on it.
The Asia Cup is going on.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want our take on some of these matches, you can follow us on YouTube, or you can get the audio at patreon.com/Great Cricketer, where you can also get discounts on our merchandise and live show tickets coming up, which we'll have announcements on in the next few weeks. It's been suggested on the internet numerous times that this competition exists so Pakistan and India can play against each other a number of times. They've already played each other twice. They may play each other one more time in the final if both teams make it. Last night, Pakistan beat India in the Super 4 stage.
Yeah. I was going to ask, what stage was that?
They chased down 181 with one ball to spare. It was actually a fucking brilliant game in Dubai there. The other teams in the Super 4 stage are Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. Sri Lanka chased down 175 with 5 balls to spare against Afghanistan. That was on Sunday night our time, or Sunday morning our time. This was also Sri Lanka chased down against Bangladesh. They chased down 180 something. It was actually the highest ever score chased down in the UAE. So Sri Lanka doing bits here. Anyway, so now remaining in the tournament, India and Pakistan will play against Sri Lanka and Afghanistan each. So it's 4 more games there, and then the final, which will be on Sunday night, Monday morning, our time in Australia. One key takeaway, so you can get a take on what's happening in those games if you want to join us on Patreon or on YouTube. A big thing that's taken away, a big takeaway from the Asia Cup in recent days, Pez, is that Jadeja is out of the Asia Cup. He may miss the World Cup. He apparently is to undergo major knee surgery, inverted commas, according to an unnamed BCCI official. If he's out of the World Cup, that'd be significant for India because he will definitely play. He's probably the best fielder in the world. He is a fucking sensational finisher with the blade, and he bowls some pretty tidy left arm shit.
Yep.
So he'd be a big miss if he misses the World Cup, but he's out of the Asia Cup anyway.
Yeah, that hurts India. Yeah, I mean, we talk about it more on the YouTube channel, I guess. India, like, they just feel a bit less than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
But a couple of green shoots for them. Kohli's starting to score runs again, so that's good. And like, you know, comparing that to Finch or whatever, like, I don't think anyone's really suggested something that Kohli had some, you know, had fundamentally lost his game.
No.
It was just like, have a break, brother.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Let's just let it go. And
Have a kip.
maybe it's coming back for him a bit, which is good. Pakistan always great to watch. That game last night was amazing. Both sides were very like to their stereotype. Pakistan dynamic, really good. But I don't know. Let's see what happens when they're out here. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's get into ASKTGC, Pez. But beforehand, I want to talk to you about. Mate, did you see this footage about the Argentinian vice president?
No.
Outside her home?
No.
Oh, mate, it was fucked up. So she's outside her home and she's like getting into her car and there's like security around and stuff. And there's like all these people like who I presume are supporters. And there's like phone footage. Everyone's got their phone out, obviously filming her and that. And then like a gun appears in her face. And then the gun doesn't go off because it jams.
Oh.
So she's avoided close assassination.
Right.
And I was just thinking, like,
yeah. I'm fucking wincing. Yeah. Because I think I know what we're about to talk about. I'm going, how does he do it? So the gun jams. She's avoided.
I was just thinking you would be absolutely sweating balls in that situation. But not with the patented MANSCAPED ball wipes.
That's good.
At manscaped.com.
People have been crying out for some variety for these ads, and you have delivered. You've leveraged the near assassination of the Argentinian vice president, but you've done it.
I had to leverage. I saw this and I thought, well, I'll compare this in nice with manscaped.com.
You've had a look at it. You've gone, you know, get the notes section out of your iPhone.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
No, that's a Manscaped bit. That
use the code TJC for 20% off.
Yeah, platinum package is out too.
Yeah, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
What are we up to here?
You'd want the platinum package after that. Security guard, you know, who would have security guard just calling up Manscaped.
Mate, I'm going to show you later.
Mate, I'm
going to show you later. It's actually fucked up. It's fucked.
Yeah. I'm all right, I reckon.
I've used it for comedy, but...
Yeah. I just want you to know that I actually take these things seriously.
Oh, quite seriously. Yeah.
You're calling up Manscaped on the landline. I'll give us the platinum package. Give us everything. 4.0. You got the 4.0?
You got the 4.0 there?
Yeah. We've got a couple of packages from the 1 through to the 4.0. It's almost like an average to the first decimal point.
It's 4.2 come out.
Manscaped's the leader in below the waist grooming of your pubic hair. You can trust them with the whole shebang. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Because when you were talking about the Argentinian vice president,
when I was
female, I thought
that's
you were
right.
Like, I was like, how's Manscaped work?
Yeah,
for her. I mean, the key's in the name.
That's right. That's right.
For usage, that is, but obviously, you know, it's been Father's Day in Australia. It's come and gone. Belated gifts are available, but you got it's the full trappings. It's the lawnmower, trimmer, it's the weed whacker, it's the body wash, it's the ultra premium 2-in-1 shampoo, plus conditioner, which means 2-in-1. What's the second, you ask? It's the ultra premium deodorant.
Yep.
Crop preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant, crop reviver ball spray toner, anti-chafing boxes, and the shed travel bag to hold your goods while traveling. And to be fair, like when you buy this thing, that all comes in one go. So like it's not like you go, oh, I'm interested in those particular products. You just know you're just getting all that shit. Like you get it, and you're just like, that entire area is now serviced. Do you know what I mean? Like you open up that box and it's well packaged. We've talked about it before.
That's right.
But you just go like, you look down and you just think that there's nothing missing here.
No stone unturned.
No stone unturned. It's
the complete package.
It is. It's a very thorough offering. It's a thorough offering.
Thoroughbred.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, I just said what they all were there.
Yeah. Use the code T.
The WATTLE SPRIGGS?
Yeah, the WATTLE SPRIGGS.
I'll tell you what's been happening. I've got something new to add here.
Please.
So off the back of these promotions, so listen up, because
Who have been
people are
sponsoring
listening.
hashtag ASKTGC for the last few weeks. A
MERV'S,
month or
Masters,
so.
Model Sprigs 11.
What's going on?
So clubs in the UK
Couple of clubbies.
have been contacting Sean Brown, who's
Have
running
they?
this,
Brownie.
after listening to TGC.
Yeah.
Wanting to contacting Sean, asking for a game against MERV'S, Masters, Wattle Sprigs 11.
Gives us a game.
So
Gives game.
So, like, notionally, this ad of Vertorial.
Yeah.
Is
Vittorial. Dan Vittorial.
Dan Vertorial. Let's get him on. I've asked once.
He's with Australia now, isn't he?
Yeah. But don't want him with don't want him in the official Australia capacity.
I don't want him with a fucking little dead old hat on.
I don't want him with Australia kit on. If I'm honest. I want him with his NZ kit from the first T20 game they played.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's
100. Do you remember when he turned into a really good bat at the end? He got like 6 Test 100s.
I do.
Is that right?
I do.
Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Quick little
Now, he's not on this tour.
Okay.
He's not on this tour. But, yeah, like we're notionally in it to get people to sign up to join MERV'S, Masters, Wattle Sprigs 11.
Yeah.
Rolls right off the tongue there. But there is a flip side to it as well. If you want to get a game against these coats.
Oh, I fucking nailed that. 6 Test 100s.
Nice one, mate. Nice one. Get in touch with Sean there, cricketcoaching.com.au. Now, where are they going to be across England? So if you join this tour, you're going to be in London, Manchester, Liverpool, Bath, and clubs from those areas are welcome to contact Sean for a game.
That's good.
Sean even mentioned, and I'm just raising this, he said it's a left field idea, and I don't think it's going to happen this time around, genuinely. I mean, let us know if you think differently. But for future tours, he says MERV'S Masters could play a game made up of UK TGC listeners at a ground in London to be determined. And could we please determine the superior Australia or England wheelie bin team? If you want to be part of that team,
that's good.
And we're taking expressions of interest for Australia's 2027 tour to the Ashes. But I guess if it comes together, let us know if you want to be part of that team. Fuck, what sort of team would we want to put together for that?
Absolute pack of rabid dogs.
I'd want a couple of ringers at least.
Oh, okay.
At fucking least.
Okay, so we've got like 600 test caps in the side.
Oh, like I'd be disappointed if like Hatzaglu's over there. He's taking photos with his fucking hoodie on and first slip.
Yeah.
And then playing for Oval or whoever.
He just won the East Anglia Prem this morning.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he knew the name of the comp, judging by the last thing. A couple of drive-bys on Hatzaglu.
Yeah.
Just doing his best.
Just guys making a living out of cricket.
Yeah. Cut him at your peril. I guess I sort of have to work him. But yeah, I think our just pride and ego would dictate that the team needs to be able to play. Need to be able to play a little bit.
Well, but Sean's matching these teams up.
Yeah, we'll come back to Sean in a second. I know he's paying for this, but I just want to talk about TGC's side.
Okay. Yeah,
because you can put those in the UK. You can put those teams together that have a little bit too much skill flying around. Played for Australia House against the West Indies team. Over there. It was fucking joke. There was ex first class guys running around. It was too much for 34-year-old me. It was
Well, the year before you were saying Joffre played.
Joffre was playing.
Yeah. I've actually someone else was playing. Actually, might have been Kyron Pollard. I was doing some research, and he played for the same team that you played against, but it wasn't they when you?
They were fucking good.
Yeah. That's a serious game of cricket.
It was. The ball flew past my face, and I was like, "This is like one stuff," and it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Yeah. So I sort of finished with 27, but
sort of run a ball.
Yeah, I was a bit quicker than that, but yeah. but I borrowed a helmet. And I mean, you know, when you've been around the trip, you still find a way.
Oh, yeah.
Guys playing that game like, no, that's not my memory. That wasn't my memory.
I remember you turning around and kicking him over at one point.
I did. I remember the first ball that game, I was at third, sorry. And
you down third?
I was at third, and someone like ran one down, and it was to my right, and I was, you know, like when you're slow, but when you're running, you feel like you're fucking Usain Bolt, like your head's moving so much, and there's wind in your ears and stuff. And I thought I was getting down to like I thought I had it, and I just harbour bridged it, and like so, you know, I didn't get a bowl, but yeah, made 27, probably for 20 odd or something like that. Later in the game, and all the captain said to me was like, "What about you harbour bridging that first ball?" All right, I guess that's
I guess live.
I guess that's live. Yeah. Anyway, Sean Brown's got this tour.
Oh, okay.
So this is MERV'S around all tour. It's game on the field.
Are there still spots?
Well, I think he's going to have to make a bigger tour, genuinely, because people are reacting. He's also he's going to send us a cap so you can see what you get.
Oh,
if you actually mention TGC when you go to cricketcoaching.com,
good.
He's going to send you a free baggy green cap. So this is some cosplay shit. They're going all around the UK. I think at the moment it's 7 games. You get to train at Lords, and then you play all these games in the lead up to the first test of the Ashes, whereupon you can do your own shit there as well.
Yeah.
So that's not part of the tour, the Ashes. It's a lead up to it. It seems like a fuckload of fun, to be honest. It's MERV'S Masters WATTLE SPRIGGS 11. MERV'S there the whole time. Could we put a TGC team together for these coaches to play and knock them over too? Let us know if you want to be part of that team, and show us your play cricket stats as well.
Hashtag AskTGC for this week. Anon. But as you are aware, this summer in England has been hotter than a Janice Griffith and James Dean special interest film.
God.
Every week where the weather has been north of 30, our captain loses the toss and we find ourselves in the field for 60 overs. Last Saturday was no different. Our captain loses the toss against the top of the league, who duly inserts us into the sweat box for 3 hours of hell. Sweat box. Fast forward to the end of the innings and we all trudge off the field, saturated by our own juices.
Oh. Evocative.
There's a real sexual nature to
that's
this.
Right.
That was very evocative. Our overseas player, let's call him Joe, decides now would be a good time to announce he needs to run home for a bite of lunch. Seeing as he is staying 5 minutes
England.
from the ground, not an issue. The lunch break ends and our opening bat strides out to the middle. But where is Joe? 5 overs pass by and there is no sign of Joe. Numerous calls and texts to his mobile remain unanswered. Not even a couple of blue bombers. Murmurings of, fucking joke, and where is this prick? Start to ripple through the team. All of a sudden, he strolls in through the gate opposite the pavilion. He proceeds to meander slowly around the outfield with a slight bounce in his step. He responds to questions of his tardiness with, sorry, mate, I was just getting a sandwich. This flippant response is greeted with a cold look from our captain and under the breath, cunt. Cut to the end of the game, a 5-wicket win with Joe launching the ball for 6 to seal it, a proper dicking. During the post-match tubs, it is then we find out that it wasn't just a sandwich he was eating at lunch.
Oh.
He comes clean and admits that he had gone home for a chop with his girlfriend.
Phraseology, a chop will do.
Yeah, a chop with his girlfriend.
I went home for a chop with my girlfriend. Oh, you've never had sex before?
He claims it's like a bag of sand. He claims he would have been quicker had his phone not rung every 2 minutes, with caller ID indicating it was our hairy and often angry offie. What's the hair got to do with
it? Like oh, this is an ugly chap. If it was a better-looking bloke.
Mid-coitus. My question is this. Is his blatant disregard for our league position to have a chop a red flag? Should his girlfriend come to every game to ensure he performs in the second innings? Are we all beater for being worried about his whereabouts, not in terms of his safety, but our need for him to bat 4 as our opening lineup has been compared to a collapsing souffle many times this year? Am I alpha for donning the alpha budgie smugglers, or am I trying too hard? Why won't my dad come and watch me play, even though I'm now regularly playing in the ones, but will travel to South Africa with my youngest brother for a spin academy? Yours, Anon.
Okay, last couple of things you said were no good.
Yeah,
they were
no good.
Embarrassing.
Real flex.
Well, it wasn't though. It was an attempt to just okay. You go to a spin academy and stuff.
No. His brother, his younger brother, is in South Africa at a spin academy.
Okay.
So your younger brother's better than you.
But also he goes there, he's probably basking in reflected glory.
Of course.
Dad won't come to, yeah, okay, standard stuff. I guess I like the phrasing of he proceeds to meander slowly around the outfield with a slight bounce in his step. That's actually exactly how you would walk after sex. That's actually, because you rarely...
It is how you would walk after sex.
It's how you would, it's how I'm told.
That's right.
I read it in books.
That's right. In Leviticus.
Leviticus is fucking full on.
Yeah.
Not as much as Deuteronomy. Anyway, yeah, meandering with a slight bouncing step. I like that. And this is obviously England, right? So I'm just imagining. Okay, so
he's an overseas. So
he's an overseas. I'm imagining he's an Aussie.
Yeah,
in
I'm
England,
thinking Aussie.
And I'm thinking he's a good player.
He doesn't fucking rate your league.
He doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give
and
a
he's
fuck.
like, and he knows I'm going to bomb someone to win the game. And he's like, I'm gonna nip around the corner to
have a
get
chop
one.
with my girlfriend who I'm breaking up with in 2 weeks after I go to this fucking shitty league. That's what he's thinking. He's there to have sex with women and to travel
Eat
to
sandwiches.
Greece. Eat sandwiches.
I'd imagine he had a sandwich on the way home to his house. Like just a quick sandwich, and then just jump in.
Maybe she was having a bite of his cut lunch.
Yep.
Well, that'll just about do it for this week's. What's the name of the show?
I don't know. A couple of blokes.
Yeah, whatever the fuck he fucks. That's what we're going to write in now, isn't it? You can find us on Patreon for hashtag AskTGC Fridays, of course. And anything else you want to say? Nah. Thanks to Ryan Burl. Thanks to Chris Lynn. Thank you to you, Coates, on the internet. Hey, if it's the end of your summer, if it's the end of your season, cricket season in the UK, and those guys are just wrapping up their leagues, I hope you had the worst season of your life and you never play again to get out of this fucking shit sport. See you next week.